Welcome to the Pick Vault. Taking sports gambling to the next level. No more winging it. It's time to get paid. We're a sports gambling consultation firm. We use sports, news, sports data, stats, and analytics. And we help you unlock your money. Get ready to start winning. This is the Pick Vault.
It's the Pick Vault. Gonna sit you down and listen to this real talk. Ain't no first or second option, this the default. Turning picks into these dollars, gonna let them fall. Raining down these daily winnings like an aerosol. Analytics calculated just to win it all. Problems when it comes to choosing, we got all them solved. Got the picks that needin' fixed, and you know who to call. Cause this the Pick Vault.
And he is right. That is Jay Alive Official. If you guys haven't checked him out yet, you are missing out. Make sure you guys go check him out at JayAlive_official on Instagram. He just released a new album. And everyone out there, welcome to the Pick Vault. I'm Matt Taylor alongside Sally Picks 585 Bets. And tonight, we are diving into a critical game in the NFC, a critical game in the NFL season. Probably one of the best games we've ever had on Thursday Night Football, definitely this season so far. The 6-1 Green Bay Packers, Aaron Rodgers, Matt LaFleur, the whole team getting on a plane and traveling to Arizona to take on the 7-0 undefeated Arizona Cardinals, obviously, as we mentioned, with Kyler Murray. Both these quarterbacks are in the MVP conversation, so this game is primetime football. But before I dive in, Sally, welcome to the Pick Vault again. My co-host is back. Sally is the hottest capper in the industry. He is the best capper in the industry, and we're so happy he's joined Pick Vault Nation and joined the Pick Vault team because guess what? He is hotter than a pistol. He's out in Las Vegas right now. He's won 7 straight games. So if you guys do not follow Sally Picks 585 Bets, I don't know if you're crazy or what your deal is, but you are for sure missing out, so make sure you guys follow him. Sally, welcome to the Pick Vault. We are hot right now, and you're hotter than anyone out there. How you doing?
I'm doing fucking great. I'm living the fucking dream out here, man. I just want to take a second to, thank you once again for having me on this podcast. Since me and you have met, it just seems like it's like peanut butter and jelly, dude. We just mix so good together, bro, and we've been so hot. I mean, I've hit 7 in a row. I know that your site that you got is hotter than fuck, man. And like I tell everybody, man, I'm a great sports capper. I think I'm one of the best in the world. But the way to be the best is you got to have tools. And that Pick Vault fucking app is my best tool in the box. And just to show you guys like fucking money, right? You guys like money, okay? I have made my clients so much money in the last 4 or 5 weeks. I had a guy buy a fucking $80,000 Range Rover yesterday off of my picks, okay? I can't make this shit up. $100 week package. I'm hotter than a fucking pistol, and I treat my clients like family. I verbally talk to every one of my clients. That's the difference between me and these other guys, okay? Once you're on my team, you're family forever. Let's get into this game tonight. We got a lot to talk about. Thank you for having me, Matt. Nothing but love.
Listen, you don't got to thank me. We're happy to have you join the Pick Vault team. And as Sally said, he has become family to the Pick Vault and obviously family to me. Him and I talk probably more than I talk to my own family at home. But it's been an unbelievable ride so far. And just an announcement to everyone out there, the Pick Vault has actually had over 70 new members sign up in the past 48 hours. It's been a huge freaking accomplishment for us. We've been waiting for this moment, and obviously Sally's been a big part of that and everything we're doing over at the Pick Vault mobile app. If you guys haven't checked this out, again, I don't know if you're crazy or you don't want to make money, because the Pick Vault, as Sally said, is the #1 artificial intelligence sports pick app out there right now, and it's going to make you money across the board. So Sally, let's dive into tonight's game. Talk about what we got going on here with the Green Bay Packers and what we got going on with Kyler Murray. Because these two guys, I know every time we have a podcast, you and I, we talk about the MVP conversation. And we talk about, obviously, at the top of the MVP conversation right now, you have to talk about Tom Brady. He's been having an unbelievable season. You have to talk about Matt Stafford. But these two guys are probably the only two other guys in the conversation, in my opinion, and that's Aaron Rodgers and Kyler Murray, both leading their teams, both bringing their teams to successful records. Obviously, we haven't seen the Cardinals at 7-0 in a long time. It's the tied for the best start in franchise history, 7-0. And the Packers, again, they're consistent. They get the job done. They've won 6 straight after losing game 1 to the Saints week 1. They got blown out week 1 in Jacksonville. I was actually at that game, and they got blown out week 1. So, Sally, kind of break down what we're seeing out of these two quarterbacks. Aaron Rodgers doing it again, and Kyler Murray kind of rising the new heights for the young quarterback.
I mean, both quarterbacks are just playing at a high level. You can't take nothing away from him. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, he's 151 passes he's completed 151 out of 221. He's thrown for 1,700 yards, 15 touchdowns. He's only got 3 interceptions and 108, percentage. Then you got Kyler Murray on the other hand. He's thrown 164, 223 times. He's completed 164. He's got 2,000 yards, 17 touchdowns, but he's got 5 interceptions. So both of them are playing at just a high level, like I said. And tonight's going to be interesting because Aaron Rodgers, he's missing his top receiver, okay, in Adams. So, but he's been in this situation 6 other times, okay? And the conversation has been the same every time he's been up. How is Rodgers going to win this game without Adams tonight? And he's 6-0. He's 6-0 without Adams in the same spot. Yeah, you're going against an undefeated Cardinals team who's playing great football right now. And they got that offense is clicking. I mean, you got some major receivers on that side. And Kyler Murray, man, I mean, this is what, his second year? I mean, this guy is playing great football. And look at Tom Brady, I think right now is running away with MVP as of right now. But you got Murray that's right behind him. You got Rodgers that's in the top. You still got Josh Allen in the top. You got Stanford. But right now I think it goes to Tom Brady just because what he's been able to do at such an old age and how many years he's been in the NFL and what he's been accomplishing. But tonight, man, I'm looking forward. Like you said, I think this is probably the best primetime game we've had thus far this season.
Of course. And one of the things I want to touch on here, you kind of touched on it briefly, but, Aaron Rodgers throughout the course of his career has been a guy that, I don't want to say he likes being the enemy or he likes being the underdog story, but I have to say it. Aaron Rodgers, last season, everyone kind of questioned if he was going to be where he was, and he got the job done again, got to the NFC Championship game last season. Heading into this season, we're talking about Aaron Rodgers once again. He shows up week 1. He throws 2 picks week 1, if you remember. They get blown out. I think it was 38-3 to the Saints, and everyone was talking about the Saints going to be undefeated, whatever. But then all of a sudden, the sports media world started doubting Aaron Rodgers again. They started doubting him again. And if you recall back a few seasons, when everyone started doubting him, what did he say? He said, RELAX, relax. And so everyone in Green Bay started doubting him. Everyone said he didn't want to play the game of football any longer. Stephen A. Smith said he's done. I mean, everyone across the board was kind of giving up on one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. And since that game, he throws for 15 touchdowns. And only 1 pick the remainder of the season other than that first week. And he's, again, risen to the occasion. The funny thing is about this game tonight, everyone's doubting Aaron Rodgers again. And I'm not a guy that's going to sit back and say, okay, Aaron Rodgers across the board, every time he's been doubted, what happens? He comes through, he prevails, he gets the job done, he wins. If you recall, even earlier this season, they were playing against the 49ers. Everyone across the board, all the experts were out there saying 49ers got it, 49ers got it, 49ers got it. Jimmy Garoppolo, what happens? He comes back and leads a game-winning drive, a game-winning field goal drive. They win that game 30-28 against the 49ers. So, again, I'm not counting Aaron Rodgers out tonight. I think you got to consider the money line tonight. I think it's great value. I think I looked at Action Network, and they had it, like I said, 60% as a good bet, a C-plus or 70, C-plus bet. They had it as if you did the Packers money line. I've seen it across the board. A lot of experts talking about sprinkling. And we're going to dive into that. But before we do, I do want to touch on this team that we're talking about on the other side, and that's the Arizona Cardinals. Where the hell did they come from? I looked at their roster today, and if you go from top to bottom, when they're healthy, again, that's what we're going to touch on here. When they're healthy, you go from top to bottom. This roster is assembled with a bunch of stars, kind of the way we saw Tampa Bay do it last season, which was we're going to get these names, Hopkins. We're going to go out and get a few, James Conner. We're going to go out and make some moves, and we're going to start picking up. And now they add Zach Ertz 2 weeks ago. We see them continue to do and pull from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers playbook. So that's where I'm going to go to you next. What do you think? Forget the Packers for a minute. What do you think about the Cardinals this season? I'm going to touch on three notable wins they've had this season. They win 17-10 over the 49ers. They blow out the Rams 37-20. And then they beat the Titans, a team that, again, beat the Bills last week or 2 weeks ago, beat the Chiefs last week. They blow them out 38-13. This team has some quality wins. What do you say, Sal?
I think you're absolutely right. I mean, you touch base on it. They have some quality wins. They do. The first couple of weeks, people were like, they just barely beat Minnesota because, they played that close game against the Vikings. They came down to a missed field goal by Minnesota. It was like a 33-yard field goal. Minnesota should have won that game. But since then, they've been just wiping teams out, man. And each week, it seems like Kyler Murray is getting more connected with his receivers. Zach Ertz left Philadelphia. His first game was last week, and I think he had, a 68-yard touchdown catch or something like that in his first with Arizona. So I think bringing Zach Ertz in the tight end spot is just going to make them elevate even more than what they already are. I mean, then you got DeAndre Hopkins, who's just a beast. I don't know. I know he's questionable for tonight. I'm not sure if he's playing right now. He's questionable. Who knows? But then you got Chase Edmonds. I mean, they got AJ Green now. I mean, they got players on this offensive side where they could score like that, So, yeah, man, they're playing great football. You can't take nothing away. They're the best team in the NFL right now. I mean, look, they're undefeated. They're the only undefeated team. You can say what you want to say. They're the only team left that's undefeated right now.
Of course. And every year we seem to see this, and this is what I was talking to you about before. Every year we seem to see this team in primetime football. Last year it was the Pittsburgh Steelers. They were undefeated. I think they were at 8-0, and they had a primetime game. Now, here's the thing. This could be the showcase game for the Arizona Cardinals, the showcase game for Kyler Murray, the showcase game for everything that Shanahan's doing, Kyle Shanahan's doing. He's back this week after the COVID-19 protocol. This could be the showcase game that we're talking about, or we could see them be very vulnerable on national television. I think one of those two things is obviously going to happen tonight. I really think you're going to see a great game from the Packers, even without Davonte Adams, as you mentioned. I want to touch on three notable wins here for the Packers this season. They win 25-22 over the Bengals, a great win for them. The Bengals have proven to be a great team this season. Joe Burrow playing at a different level. Obviously, Chase playing at a different level. So a big win there, 25-22 over the Bengals. And they beat the Steelers. I know the Steelers are a team that kind of are lingering in the playoff hunt in the AFC. They're a team that is interesting, I think, in my opinion, moving forward. They win 27-17. And then the other one, again, I want to touch on is that 30-28 win over the 49ers. They win it in overtime on primetime football. The reason that's notable to me, not because they beat the 49ers, but because they beat them in primetime football. And again, another primetime game here. Aaron Rodgers has been in primetime moments. He's played on Thanksgiving. He's played in playoff games. He's played in the biggest of stages. And I think tonight you're going to see him again show up in the biggest of moments. And you kind of touched on it, and we're going to head here now, and that's going to be talking about some of the notable injuries for this ball game today, because there are a few that are, we have to touch on. The biggest one, in my opinion, I think it's an underestimated or an underrated injury, if you would, is the J.J. Watt injury. Now, a lot of people are kind of touching on it today. That came out last night. He had shoulder surgery. He's going to be out moving forward, but J.J. Watt will not be playing probably for the whole season for this 49ers team. I'm sorry, for the Cardinals team tonight. And when you're talking about a loss like that in the front seven, especially going up against a veteran quarterback like Aaron Rodgers in a big moment, losing one of your front seven that gets a lot of pressure on the quarterback is something that's very notable heading into this game. And you have to touch on this. Aaron Rodgers has been sacked 3 times, average of 3 times per game this season. I think it's 2.87 or something like that. But almost 3 times per game, Aaron Rodgers has been sacked. If you remove one of the front seven from the Cardinals, I think that's something you got to talk about. And so to have, to talk about this, I'm going to bring on E. I know Eric has been a big part of the Pick Vault team. Now he's joining in via phone. So E, welcome to the Pick Vault. Eric, welcome to the Pick Vault. We are talking about injuries. I want to ask you right now, what do you think about the J.J. Watt injury? What's the impact on this game tonight? Obviously, I just touched on a few things, but how big is this injury of J.J. Watt for this Cardinals team, not only tonight, but moving forward this season?
So, boys, how you guys doing today? What's that, Sally?
I said, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good. I'll be blunt and honest. I'm a little hungover today. It's an all day hangover. One of those days. But,
absolutely.
But it was worth it. I had a good time. So what's really interesting about the whole J.J. Watt thing? I mean, there was one point where, J.J. Watt was, almost Lawrence Taylor-like. The guy was really just something to marvel at in terms of how he was playing. But what's really interesting is I've kind of read between the lines with the real reason they brought J.J. Watt over. I don't know the guy. I'm not, close to the situation. But I've heard a few people, a few top analysts, a few top commentators, there's this underlying belief that Kyler Murray is actually kind of a prick.
Really?
He's kind of Yep, he's kind of difficult to deal with. He might, and listen, we're not in the locker room, so what do we know? But apparently he's a little, maybe, and deservedly so, maybe he's got a little bit too much bravado in the locker room, and, maybe he's a little arrogant, and it kind of rubs off on, he's probably a 23-year-old guy. The 30-year-old guys probably don't respond to it well. So when you ask me about J.J. Watt's injury, the real reason, you've got to remember, I think it was Hurricane Harvey that destroyed Houston, and J.J. Watt became such a public figure in the city of Houston. The guy was able to get tens of millions of dollars donated by kind of being the focal point or the face of all that. The real reason they brought J.J. Watt in was to bring a real alpha male, a real alpha, real leader, a guy who he's going to be the leader in the locker room. Right?
Of course. And you Daniel, not to cut you off here, but you have to talk about the fact that they're creating a culture that the Arizona Cardinals have not had since the Kurt Warner days, since the Larry Fitzgerald days, since the days that they were great back in the day when they won a Super Bowl title. They're trying to create a winning culture, and that starts with having a veteran presence in the locker room. And when you do have a young quarterback, I know we see it in Baltimore with the Ravens. They got Lamar Jackson. We see it across the league. You see all of a sudden they're bringing in, all these teams are bringing in veterans across the board. And I touched on right before you hopped on, the fact that a lot of the things the Cardinals are doing this season remind me of things that the Buccaneers have done in the past 2 seasons, bringing in veterans across the board, bringing in the big names across the board, and all of a sudden creating not only a winning team, a winning roster, but a winning attitude. And that is something that's interesting because you think about J.J. Watt and you think about DeAndre Hopkins. They were in Houston for a long time, not a winning environment, not a winning culture. So those 2 guys coming on this team kind of brings a different attitude, a different perspective, in my opinion. And I do agree. I don't know the internal affairs of Kyler Murray, and I don't know. Again, I'm sure if you heard it, there's probably a little bit of legitimacy to it, but I have no idea. But when you're talking about bringing a veteran guy, in the locker room, I think it's a great move. And even if he's injured, I know it's going to be a blow to them. But from a leadership perspective, we seen LeBron James the other night. He didn't play, but he was right there on the floor yelling at his players, being there emotionally invested in the game. And J.J. Watt is a player that we know will be emotionally invested not only in the play, but in that locker room as well, as you mentioned, E. So as we move on, let's talk about Davonte Adams. We talk about J.J. Watt not being, available tonight, not playing moving forward for this team. What do you think about Davonte Adams? And I'm going to go to Sal first. Sal, what does this loss of Davonte Adams mean for this Packers team tonight? Obviously, he's been one of the best wide receivers in the NFL this season. And as you mentioned before, they're 6-0 without him. So Aaron Rodgers either elevates his play or the people around him seem to elevate their play, whether it's Randall Cobb, whether it's Jones, whether it's Lazard. We see everyone kind of elevate their play for the Packers. What do you think about this loss for the Packers tonight?
It's huge. There's no way around it. It's absolutely huge. If you look at his total yards, he's at almost 800 yards. The next man closest to him has got 179 yards, which is Cobb. Okay? So you're talking, that's his go-to guy. Especially this year. They have formated a connection this year like no other, man. He's got 780 yards. The closest one to him has got 179. That's a big difference, okay? So, yeah, he's going to be affected without Adams tonight. But all that means is next man has to step up. Like you said, you still got – and look, he had a great connection with Cobb for many, many years. Okay? Yeah, Cobb's a little older now. He's a veteran. But I still think he's got He's got skill, man, and those two are familiar with each other. Okay, the tight end, I think he's going to step up. I think Robert Tonyan's going to step up tonight. Okay, I think you got people that just need to step up tonight, and Aaron Rodgers can manage the game. You're talking about Aaron Rodgers, okay, an MVP, all-time great quarterback. Okay, he's going to know what to do tonight. He's going to know how to settle into the game, and he's going to know how to manage it. He's going to know what to do, who to go to. And look, you're giving Aaron Rodgers 7 points. Yeah, he's missing his main guy, but Aaron Rodgers, 7 points? Come on. The guy's a great. He's a veteran. Just like the leadership that E was just talking about with J.J. Watt. Aaron Rodgers is a leader, man. He's a facilitator. I mean, look, I just think the next man steps up. I think Aaron Rodgers keeps his game really close, and he's going to do what he always does on night football. And when people doubt him, like you said earlier, when people doubt Aaron Rodgers, that's when he shows up at his prime. So
yeah, I mean, when people doubt Rodgers, it's time to sit back and relax, because this guy's about to step up, as you mentioned. So, E, I'm going to ask the same question to you. Obviously, we touched on it, 6-0 without Davonte Adams. Is Aaron Rodgers, while he has Matt LaFleur in that dynamic duo, if you would, of young coach, a different style offense, great quarterback, what do you think the loss of Davonte Adams means tonight? Again, as we talk about pertaining to that spread of 6.5 right now.
So I like to look at a lot of the guys, the studs in their interviews, and I can usually gauge the way some of the other athletes talk about the other athletes. You guys all know Jalen Ramsey, right?
Yep.
Stud corner. You want to talk about a guy who, utmost confidence. I have never heard this guy, Jalen Ramsey, give anyone credit. The only people I've ever seen him give credit to were DeAndre Hopkins, and then they asked him about Davonte Adams, and the guy flat out said, "Oh yeah, he'll make some plays on me." So that tells me that Davonte Adams is special and as elite as they come. Now I didn't realize this, but apparently they're down their top 3 wide receivers. Did you guys know that?
Well, who's out tonight? When you're talking about top 3, which 3 are you talking about? Obviously Adams, and then
I forget apparently it's 3. Valdez,
I'm on the injury report right now, and it looks like Davonte Adams, Valdez, Scantling, as you mentioned, and those are the only 2 wide receivers on the Packers that are out right now.
Yep, it's Davonte Adams, Alan Lazard, I think is how you pronounce his name, and Marquez, I think it's Valdez Scantling is how you pronounce his name. So they're down the top 3.
Oh, Lazard is out.
I don't believe Lazard's out. I'm on the list right now. I'm going to check that. Just not the fact. Oh, he's on the COVID protocol list, so he's not injured. So it says here, Adam Schefter just released a few minutes ago. I'm going to read it while we're on air here. Packers are not expected to activate Marquez Valdez Scantling before today's game, giving more time to recover from his injury. No Davonte Adams and no Alan Lazard tonight.
Wow.
So all 3 are out. That's a great call, E. And again, ESPN hasn't even released that information on their app as well.
That's why he called the big guys in. That's why he called the big guy in. All right.
Of course. Hungover or not, you bring your A game. I love it.
I love it. That's big, man. That's some big news that we just received right here, man. So,
does that change, Sal? You and I had a private conversation here about a half hour ago. Does that change that conversation we had in terms of your predicting, or
no?
Being down 3 wide receivers is tough.
RELAX. You got big number 12 on the field tonight, and I'm telling you, I think they're going to struggle tonight. In my opinion, the Cardinals might struggle tonight to get pressure on Aaron Rodgers. Now, we know that's going to be the game plan for the offensive line. It always is the game plan, protect the quarterback. But listen, without J.J. Watt, without one of the biggest guys, you talked about leadership on the front 7, I'm telling you right now, it's going to be a struggle to get to Aaron Rodgers. And if you don't get to Aaron Rodgers and you give that man some time, he is going to throw the ball all over this field tonight. And I don't care how many receivers. You could line Sally up there on the wide out, and he'll be catching passes left and right coming from Aaron Rodgers. I know you got to go, E. I know you got to hop off in a minute here, but I want to get your opinion on some of these numbers in Las Vegas. And Sally, hop in here as well, because Vegas, by the numbers, the Packers are plus 6.5. Obviously, it is a big bet in Vegas right now, but they're receiving 51% of the bets, total bets on the Packers, plus 6.5, but only 29% of the total money is on the Packers plus 6.5, meaning sharps in Vegas are all over the Cardinals minus 6.5, and big money across the board is all over the Cardinals minus 6.5. So I'm going to go to E here because I know you got to hop off in a minute. Let me know, what do you think about that? Obviously, we're talking about the spread, 6.5. Everyone in Vegas, you're talking sharps and big money, are on the Cardinals minus 6. What do you think about that?
Well, I have to be honest. I think if it was two wide receivers, I agree with Sal. Aaron Rodgers is just such an elite all-timer that, let's be honest, the guy's probably has the most talented arm of all time, him or either Patrick Mahomes. But I think being down 3 wide receivers, whoever these next 3 are, next man up, if they can't create any separation, I think it's a tough task to ask. I think the Cardinals win by 10. I really do. After hearing they're down 3 wide receivers, Cardinals win by 10 at least.
Interesting. Again, I'm not going to negate that point. I think the 3 wide receivers is a big loss. But again, when you're talking about the best thrower of the football, probably all time, as you touched on there, and the fact that, listen, he's still got Jones out of the backfield. He's still got a few weapons, as Sally mentioned. He's still got Randall Cobb, who's been his number one connection throughout the course of his career. When there's no Adams, Randall Cobb steps up. I'm telling you right now, don't be fooled. If Aaron Rodgers has Cobb tonight and Aaron Rodgers has Tunyon tonight at the tight end position, that position continues to evolve in the NFL. And then you're talking about, again, the running back out of the backfield, Aaron Jones, is poised to have a huge day. Not only running the ball, but in my opinion, again, without J.J. Watt, you're going to see him catch some balls out of the backfield, in my opinion, and break free for one. And again, that's one of our player props, and that's where we're going to head to next. I know you got to go, E-Money. Lock in your play before you hop off. Let us know. What's your play tonight? Player props. Okay, let's hear it.
I'll give you a couple. Okay, I think so. It's funny because if you say Kyler Murray's going to throw for 400 yards, it's unlikely the running back is also going to run for 100 yards, right? So it's kind of counterintuitive, right?
Yep.
But I believe that even with being down 3 wide receivers, because I actually do believe, I think the Packers are going to be behind in this game, and I think they're going to be throwing a lot. Aaron Rodgers is going to pass for more than 253 yards.
Yep. He's
going to pass for more than 253 yards. I like Chase Edmonds over, I think it's 43 yards rushing. And I'll give you this one. I called it a couple weeks ago, the big long run. Derrick Henry, it was over 17 yards. The guy busted out for an 80-yarder. You can lock this one in. Kyler Murray, a single pass completion over 37 yards. Count it, book it, take it to the bank. You're welcome. Guaranteed.
Love it. So again, E-Money hopped on and he gave us that big player prop last time, and he's been killing it across the board. We're happy to have E-Money hopping in and out always on the Pickball podcast. We look forward to having you on again Thursday night. I think you're going to hop on for a longer extended period of time. But listen, we're happy you jumped on, and we look forward, like I said, to having you on future podcasts. You are on the Cardinals minus 6.5 tonight. And then obviously, as you mentioned, those player props across the board, I think they're all great plays. So E-Money, thank you for joining the Pick Vault, and we'll see you next time.
And I got to defer to Sally on the picks.
All right, sounds good.
Sally to go. Have a go one, boys.
Of course. Thank you for joining. All right, so that was E-Money again. He killed it. He hopped on for a little bit. We love having E-Money on the podcast. We're going to continue to have him on. Again, Pick Vault Nation, comment below right here. If you love E-Money, shout out, give him a little E action across the board. Let's hop into some player props, and I think he gave one that I really like, and that is Aaron Rodgers. I'm going to go through the Pick Vault player props right now, Sal, if you don't mind. I'm going to run them down here. We have 5 on the board tonight, and the last time we gave out 5 player props, we went 5 for 5 on player props. So, Sal, here we go again. I think it's time to say this for Pick Vault Nation. Hop on the player prop bandwagon because I think tonight we have a big player prop night, and especially in primetime football, we've been killing the player props. So let's dive into it. We got 5. We got number 1, Aaron Rodgers over 259 passing yards across the board. Aaron Rodgers is the greatest thrower of the football. I think tonight you're going to showcase that in primetime football. Over 259.5 passing yards. Next up, Aaron Jones, I mentioned it, out of the backfield. This guy's going to get some receiving yards. We've seen Kamara do it in primetime football this past Thursday. I think you're going to see it again here with Aaron Jones, over 34.5 receiving yards out of the backfield. We just mentioned it, 3 wide receivers down for the Packers. Players got to step up across the board. I think you're going to see a big day from Aaron Jones, and over 34.5 receiving yards is the play. On the other end, right? We talked about him already. I know you like this play as well, Sal. You talked about him already. Zach Ertz has moved over from the Philadelphia Eagles. He now is an Arizona Cardinal. A big game for him. Last week, he finally broke for one with the Cardinals in that new uniform. And tonight, we're taking Zach Ertz over 28.5 receiving yards. One more time, Zach Ertz over 28.5 receiving yards. Next up, we got Robert Tonyan. Anytime touchdown scorer. Again, we talked about it. You and I love this play across the board, and it comes down to this: without the 3 wide receivers and the evolution of that position, tight end, people are changing the way they play defense against the tight end, and I don't think we're there yet. I think the tight end breaks for one today. I think Tonyan gets a touchdown. Anytime touchdown scorer. Again, there's plus value for that one as well. And then last up, here's an interesting one. For the Arizona Cardinals, we got James Conner over 10.5 rush attempts. Again, Packers in the bottom third of the league in rush defense. They're going to have a lot of rushing attempts, in my opinion. I think James Conner has a big day rushing the ball. I'm not talking big day yard-wise. I'm talking over 10.5 total rushing attempts. So one more time for Pick Vault Nation. We got Aaron Rodgers over 259.5 passing yards. Aaron Jones over 34.5 receiving yards. Zach Ertz over 28.5 receiving yards. Robert Tonyan, anytime touchdown scorer. And James Conner over 10.5 rush attempts. Sal, I'm going to divert the conversation to you. What's a player prop you love tonight, and what are you locking in for Pick Vault Nation today?
I mean, look, I love all those that you said, and the one that comes to me the most that I really like a lot, I love the Zach Ertz over the 28.5. I just love it. If you look at, the Packers and the tight ends, the yards that the tight ends have had against the Packers, you had Cole Kemp, who had 49 yards. You had Hockenson, who had 66 yards. George Kittle had 92 yards, okay? All easily past the total yards, okay, at the tight end position. This is at 28.5. And you see what happened last week. He busted a 68-yard reception, and that was his first week with Arizona. Now, him and Kyle Murray had extra week to work with each other, okay? I think he blows that 28.5 out of the water by halftime.
Interesting.
So I love that one. I also I love it. And I also like the Aaron Rodgers over the total yards. I think, you got 3 receivers down, but if Arizona, like you said, can't put pressure on Aaron Rodgers, which without J.J. Watt there, he's old and all that, but he's still a monster, and he's a veteran leader. Without him being on that front 7 line, if Rodgers has time, he is going to find the next man up, and he is going to slice and dice the secondary of the Arizona Cardinals. So I love the over on that, and I like Aaron Jones. Like you said, I like him. So go over, what was it, 38 yards you said?
Of course. It was Aaron Jones over 34.5 receiving yards.
34.5. I love that too. So, I mean, the Pick Vault, you've been on fire with your player props. I mean, every week we either hit them all or you go 4 out of 5. So, but the one that stands out is the Zach Ertz one to me. I absolutely Love it. Lock it in. Love
Absolutely. And I agree. I think Tunyan's going to have a big day. I think you're talking about tight ends. Again, we continue to see it. I think Kelsey and Gronk Gronk and then Kelsey were the first two to kind of evolve the tight end position. We've seen it across the league. Everyone's kind of getting a tight end. Greg Olsen was also one of the guys that kind of started shifting the conversation. Witten for the Dallas Cowboys started shifting the conversation. And now, again, I think you're seeing Zach Ertz, Tunyon, across the board. Everyone's kind of changing the way they play tight end. And, again, the defense hasn't evolved fully, in my opinion, yet to get there to defend it. So, again, I think tight ends have a big day tonight, especially from a player prop perspective. All right, Sal. Before we hop off, we got to give the Pick Vault what they're here for, and that is to lock in our plays for tonight. I know Pick Vault Nation has been waiting for this moment across the board, and they want to hear who we're riding with in this ball game tonight. So I'm going to hop in first, and I'm going to give the play here for the Pick Vault. We got the Pick Vault score projection. The Packers 21.4 to the Cardinals 26.3. One more time, Packers 21.4 to the Cardinals 26.3. And the Pick Vault pick, the Packers plus 7.5. Buy that baby up, buy that point up across the board. So again, Pick Vault Nation, I know that's a big play for us tonight is... Okay, Sal's back. You hopped out there for a minute, but we just gave the Pick Vault play. We got the Packers plus 7.5 by the point and the under 50 points. Sal, let's hear who you're rolling with tonight. Let's hear who you're going with tonight.
We're going to go for 8 in a row. We've already hit 7 in a row. I am the greatest of all time. You're going to give Aaron Rodgers at 6.5. We're going to bump it up to 7. I'm taking the Packers plus 7. Sprinkle a little on the money line. I'm going with the Packers plus 7. Let's grease these wheels. Let's start the fucking engine. And let's fucking go. Choo-choo! Let's go fucking back. Let's go.
So across the board, you heard it there. Sally is on. Again, Packers plus 7. The Pick Vault's on. Packers plus 7.5. You got two of the hottest cappers. And again, the Pick Vault is the hottest artificial intelligence sports pick app. If you guys haven't downloaded it, download it today. And if you haven't downloaded or go over to Sally Picks 585 Bets on Instagram, look at the money right there. You can't argue with results. This guy has been hotter than anyone else out there. Sally, again, he's on the Packers plus 7. And when the Pick Vault and Sally Picks are on the same bet, I don't know. I haven't seen it lose yet in primetime action. I think we lost one. I think we're like 8-1 total, Sal, in games we're on the same boat.
9-1.
Of course, 9-1 across the board. So, Sally, it's been a great podcast, and we'll hop off in a second here, but I got to give you a moment here to shout out yourself to Pick Vault Nation because everyone's been listening. And again, both of us are on the Packers tonight, Packers plus 7.5 and Packers plus 7. Shout yourself out before we head off.
Guys, I just want to let you know, man, I do $100 for a week package, man. I talk to all of my clients verbally, man. We have a great, just a great relationship. Once you guys join your family, okay? My guys are making a ton of money. And listen, like I always say to all of my people in the whole world, you're only as good as your team. And my number one ace is this guy right here, the Pick Vault. That app for $1 a day is the best tool I have in my toolbox. You always got to have tools in your toolbox. And the best tool I have is the Pick Vault. Me and him bounce off each other. And since we have met,
And there we go again. Sally hopped off here. I guess his connection's rough in Vegas. But again, he's out there in Vegas. You guys aren't going to want to miss him again. Make sure you guys go check him out on Instagram at SallyPicks585Bets. He is the man. He is the myth. He is the legend. And this is the Pick Vault. Make sure you guys sign up. Make sure you guys get your bets in. And we are OUT out.
You've been listening to the Pick Vault, America's premier sports gambling consultation firm, are ready to make you a winner and unlock your money. Make sure to hit the website at www.thepickvault.com. Find the app and subscribe to receive exclusive member content, including our picks, live updates, and sports news. Follow on Twitter and Instagram at The Pick Vault, taking sports gambling to the next level. Until next time, this is the Pick Vault, signing off.
This the Pick Vault. Gonna sit you down and listen to this real talk. Ain't no first or second option, this the default. Turning picks into these dollars, gonna let them fall. Raining down these daily winnings like an aerosol. Analytics calculated just to win it all. Problems when it comes to choosing, we got all them solved. Got the picks that needin' fixed and you know who to call. Cause this the Pick Vault.